Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Lighthouse Killer again, bringing you another Projectionist video. Hello everybody, I'm back from cleaning everything up. I'm going to give you a quick little show around how much cleaner it is. If you guys remember, everything was, black, filthy, even down there. It was all filled with dirt. Come on down here, even though that was. But we're not over yet. I still have to clean all of the items that were here that we've taken out before. But I just wanted to give you a little show of what we use the toothbrush for. Let's see here. Okay, I want to give you a little show of what we use the toothbrush for, and for that, I'll turn on the motor, which is actually going to start spinning all of these. There are 4 of them. And then we'll take the toothbrush there, and we'll just stick it right actually on the teeth and let it just kind of brush itself so that we can, we'll just put it right up on here. It'll start brushing itself. It'll knock any of the extra loose filth and grime off of there to give this kind of the final inspection to say that it's okay to be oiled up. And then as soon as we get the other pieces cleaned, we'll put it all back together. So it's going to be a little bit loud. You might want to actually turn down your volume if it's up, but use that at your own discretion. Okay, this is I don't know if you guys can see, there were a couple pieces of lint and dirt that started flying around, but we'll go through and we'll literally, nothing special, just kind of let it sit here, brush itself. There's a little bit of dirt flying off of there. Then we'll come in here. We'll clean up this one. We'll get actually in between here as well. In between the 2 areas where the teeth is, because there's a row of teeth in the back and in the front. But the entire shaft is also spinning. So we'll just go through and get everything cleaned up and let all that loose dirt and grime knock down. We'll actually take the little hand vacuum cleaner and clean all that up. And we got our final one right down here. Oh, you gotta be careful because they are spinning, so as you saw, I just took my brush a little bit. That's why you gotta be careful if you stick your hands in there. It is safe to stick your hands in there. I'm touching it right now with my hand. I don't know if maybe you can actually see it. And it's fine. I'm not bleeding or cut or anything. You just want to make sure that your hand, you don't actually get it in a position to where it'll get sucked up underneath, especially if that gate's closed, sucked up underneath, pinched into here, and maybe it rolls your hand through, you get a little scratched up. That's actually happened to me before. Nobody can have a perfect projectionist running career, so take it from me, it stings a little bit. But other than that, it's actually, they're quite harmless. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that little detour, show you that part of it. And then there are... Oh, you know what? Actually, I wanted to show you this too while we have this all open. It was this little changeover piece that goes up with the motor going. Watch out, I'm going to turn it on again. But as soon as the motor goes, it picks right up. And then if the motor stops for any reason, it'll drop right back down. And it drops down before the motor actually completely stops. And you can see the blades moving. You saw all the blades moving back here as it was going. And that is also, that's all... the whole part of the intermittent when it actually stops on each frame, and I'll explain all that when we start threading up film. But for right now, I just wanted to show you that so that when I'll make a reference to that later, and then you'll be able to see it. Same with this back part that moves up and down the changeover, this little unit up top here. So now that you see exactly how they work behind the scenes, when I actually explain how they show up on the screen and whatnot during further tutorials, you'll actually know what I'm talking about. You'll be a projectionist yourself by then. Anywho, just thought I'd show you that, and then we're gonna actually oil it up. I've cleaned all that out. There's a little bit of dust in here, but it's time to oil this up and move on with the rest of the cleaning, because you have to oil everything before you put it back together 100%, or else you're not going to be able to get to the oiling areas anymore, especially the main oiling area. Now, we'll come back here. This, I'm going to use a screwdriver to point. Can't get my chubby fingers in there. this little area right here where I can open up the lid, that's an area where we'll put oil in, and it just takes a few drops. There's no little viewing window. Same as one that is down, oopsies, past it, right here. Okay, we'll put just a few drops in there. Now the one that does have a viewing window is right here, and I don't think that you'll actually be able to see it, but you need it halfway full. There's a little red line here. You want it halfway full of oil, and it does look like it's a little bit lower, but to put oil in there, there's this little trap door right here for it. Now, I'm going to actually oil that up. It's going to be impossible to do it. I have to hold it open with a screwdriver and squeeze it in. I've only got two hands, so I can't hold on to the camera. But I'm not going to shut you off. You guys can watch me do it. Yeah, I'm not going to shut you off. You can watch me do it. Let's see here. Let's grab the oil. Okay. So we'll go with this top one first. If I get that spigot in there, I'll just literally, let's see here. There it is. It started just pouring out the top a hair. I'll clean that up with the rag so that it's not all over the machine. But that's where you want it. You want it so that it starts pouring out just a little bit. You don't want it gushing everywhere. It's too much to clean up since you have to clean up. That one took hardly any oil at all. That means that that one was good. Then right here, I will put in the oil as I'm looking at my viewfinder down here, down below. So I'll see how much oil is actually getting put in. Now, you need to check the oil every time you thread your projectors. If you don't do that, then you will, you could run out of oil in your intermittent, and it's called burning up an intermittent. That's an expensive fix if you're burning up intermittents. I would know. I've accidentally burned up a couple in my day when I was still learning it all. And you're going to want to actually, well, you can only fill the oil, especially this one, when the projector's off. You got to take all this stuff out. But another reason why you're going to want to wait until it's not going, because when you look at the viewfinder when the motor's going, the oil level drops dramatically. And that's because it's getting pumped through all the gears. And so you can't actually get an accurate reading. You have to wait until you actually stop all the motors and get everything going. Not get everything going. Stop all the motors so you can get an accurate reading on your oil so that you know how much oil to actually put in. But then we'll go up here and we'll just wipe up this excess oil, because the oil is actually what causes all that pastiness. It's just standard dust that gets in these machines just from life, just similar to your house. And the oil that's left over will mix with that dust, cause that blacky paste that was everywhere. That makes it, I mean, it's kind of difficult to clean up. If it was just dust, you could take an air compressor blower in here, or you could just take a vacuum and blow it all out. But since it mixes with all the oil, you can't. So that was, we just cleaned up the sprockets, we oiled the machine, and now I'm actually going to clean up these other parts. Because remember, they were quite filthy. Like this guy right here, still quite filthy. Gonna get these all cleaned up so that we can put it all back together, and then we can carry on with other tutorials on the way. I'd love to be showing you some of that stuff. Anyway, I will see you back here when it's time to put everything together. Okay, so now that I've got everything else clean, I just wanted to actually tell you that we're not done with the oil yet. We're done oiling up the projector itself, but this unit right here, where it holds the tension bands for the whole intermittent area where it holds the film together, you also have to oil. There is this, see how close I can get this for you. There is this roller right here, okay, that has a little bit of a spring on it, because it'll snap. If you can see me moving it, I'm moving that back and forth. And it actually has really good spring back right now. Usually when they get dirty, it gets sluggish, it'll stick back. all sorts of stuff. That is quite phenomenal that it has this much of a spring to it. But we're still going to do probably about 1 drop of oil right here where the spring is so that it'll remain springy. That made sense. Springy. Okay, that was a lot more than just 1 drop of oil. I missed it twice. I feel like a fool. But all we'll do is we'll take, well, I guess another piece of paper towel. I got one sitting right up here. Another piece of paper towel. We're just going to quickly dab it in there. We're going to pick up the last little bit of that oil, so you don't want that to spray all over your machine. And when you've got this unit out, underneath these bands, well, a lot of dust and dirt will accumulate. You got to take your toothbrush and actually make sure that you concentrate on getting underneath these bands to alleviate all the dust and dirt so that these tension bands can actually have their movement that they're supposed to. And you also need to make sure that they're not broken anywhere. They'll start wearing after time, as time goes by. And you just got to make sure they still have their spring life left in them. We actually have extras just in case that they do end up needing replacement. But these are fine. I've got them all cleaned up. But you don't need to do anything else with them. You don't need to oil the bands or anything because they're not a moving part. Because we oiled up this little spring area. Now I'm going to start assembling it all back together. And thanks for watching, everybody. That was part 2, and stay tuned for part 3.